Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm here with actually, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Götterd Murdong. Yeah, I think that's in German, right? I don't even know. But basically the second Lost Belt, right? So yeah, I had more Lost Belts because I know I'm like getting close to finishing them all, so I might as well just finish them off, right? And if you guys had like something else the most voted, then I'll just do that. And then after that, I probably just would have done a Lost Belt anyways. Afterwards, but yeah, sorry about this probably coming out like on what Sunday, right, instead of Friday, like I usually did. It's just because some stuff going on. And yeah, even right now, I can only look at about like half of it or whatever. But yeah, don't worry, it's not gonna be the part one or part two. I just kept trying to keep it all in one video, so I'm gonna just pause it. And after that, just continue on the next day. But for you guys, it'll just get edited and it'll just still be in the same video, right? So I might do like 16 minutes or so right here, and then just finish it off later on, right? But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this Lost Belt, right? Because I just saw like a TV CM or a trailer for it. I saw what I think right here behind me, right in this wallpaper. The giant king flames or whatever, suitor or something. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. And yeah, just whatever else they got in this Lost Belt. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, hope you guys will enjoy this. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let's get this reaction started. Brand new whip, got no keys. Tell them my clothes, no starch, please. Soon as you can go leave. Got M's in the bank, like yes, indeed. Cartier glasses, I won't even Pikachu. Yellow Ferrari, like Pikachu. I got him waiting and watching what he gon' do. Tryna pee what I do, tryna steal my moves. 2500 for a new pair of tennis shoes, the same price.
Welcome back to Otaku Daiku.
Okay, so yeah, here we go.
It's time to cover the second Lost
Oh,
Belt
and we
in
see
Fate
her
Order.
too. Here,
Götterdämmerung,
okay.
Eternal Ice Flame Century.
Finally get to
also
learn
known
about
as
her,
the
right, with the
Norse or
eye patch.
Scandinavian Lost Belt. This chapter follows up directly where the previous
Oh, the
one
Scandinavian
left off. After the collapse
Lost
of the
Belt,
Russian
okay.
Lost Belt, our Chaldean party in the Shadow Border got a transmission from a mage claiming to be from the Wandering Sea. I won't dwell too long on them, considering I have an entire lesson in magecraft on the subject, but the Wandering Sea is the third branch of the Mages Association. It's even more secretive than the Atlas organization in Egypt.
Okay, so
secret,
I guess
in fact,
I'll
that their headquarters
learn
isn't even
more
on the same
about
plane
that
of
then.
reality as us. It exists on a different texture, and normally it only makes itself visible to the rest of the world once a year, on December 31st. Normally, mages of the Wandering Sea have no interest in modern affairs, instead concerning themselves with magecraft from the Age of Gods. Thus, it's strange for us to suddenly be getting a transmission from them. Though it does make sense that of all places in the world to survive the planet's bleaching, the Wandering Sea would still be intact. After all, it's basically just a giant mountain-sized island surrounded by torrential waters, in its own little pocket dimension of sorts. Considering we're just this single tank driving in a desolate world of light, we can use all the help we can get, so we set course to where the broadcast is coming from, the oceans to the north. Sadly, we've got to do this the hard way, physically driving across the landscape. Due to a shortage of energy, we can only zero sail when absolutely necessary, and even then, only for a short period of time. Even worse, the Shadow Border isn't properly equipped to deal with oceanic travel. Our safest bet is to stay on land, but that means driving through the Scandinavian peninsula, which just so happens to be taken up by a Lost Belt storm wall. In other words, ironically, the safest route to the Wandering Sea's coordinates requires us to enter yet another Lost Belt.
Okay, so yeah, here we go again, right?
To reach the Lost Belt's edge, so in the meantime, we prepare to interrogate Kadok, whom we captured during the previous Lost Belt. We hope to ask him all sorts of stuff, such as his motivation, the other cryptors, the fantasy trees, and how the Lost Belts work in general. But before we get the chance, the Shadow Border gets attacked by an intruder. Aw, piss. It's
Yes, of course.
Like a madman,
yeah.
he chases after the border.
Always doing something right.
Of a distraction for
so yeah, they got
Kadok
here.
And head for the roof.
Okay.
There, Kirei stabs Kadok with his hand and declares that he's come to kill
Oh,
the
with his
master.
hand, okay.
Instead, Kirei actually
he doesn't need no weapon,
making
just do it with
like
his
murder,
hands,
so we don't try to
okay.
pursue them. Turns out, Kiray's under orders from Kirstaria to bring Kaduk back to the Olympus Lostbelt. Apparently, Kaduk still has use to the alien god, considering he still has a Sirius Light, the powerful command spell capable of shaping reality. So damn, no more Kaduk for us. Accepting the loss, the Shadow Border moves on, and our party explores some buildings that have managed to stay intact through the whitening. We find traces of survivors, but no actual people among the ruins. Soon enough, we reach our next Lostbelt Stormwall. Our goal is to, ideally, enter the Lostbelt and exit the other side without causing a commotion. We will use 2 short-distance zero sails to slip past the wall on each end. Things go according to plan, until, during our zero sail, we pick up readings of a mysterious pursuer. It appears that someone or something other than us is also able to survive in void space, but because all of our energy is devoted to the zero sail, we can't get a look at our enemy via the windows or cameras. Mashu doesn't sense any hostility, but Gordolf doesn't want to take any risks, and so we make an emergency exit from void space. Without discovering the identity of the mysterious presence, we instead end our zero sail and emerge inside the Lostbelt. That said, let's go over today's Lostbelt. As I mentioned previously, Lostbelts are alternative timelines where history significantly diverges.
Oh yeah, and then learn about her too,
In this case, that divergence occurred in the year 1000 BC,
a
time
Death
when Norse
B.
deities thrived across Scandinavia.
Okay.
More specifically, it was at the end of such an era.
The eternal
known in Norse
icy
mythology
fire
as Ragnarok.
century. Okay.
During
So
proper
ice
human history,
and fire.
this was a series of events in which the gods perished and the land flooded with water, ending with the rebirth of humanity. It was essentially the end of the Age of Gods for Scandinavia. In this Lostbelt, however, Ragnarok did not occur as prophesized. Thanks to the giant Surtur.
Oh,
king
yeah,
of
there he
Muspelheim,
goes. Okay,
the
so
realm of fire.
Surtur.
He was to bring about the twilight of the gods,
Okay.
but instead attempted to change his fate. Surtur was the member of a race known as the Jötnar. Commonly, the Jötnar are a race of giants, but not everyone who's considered one
don't even have a
matches that
face,
description.
do they?
For
Okay.
instance, there are various Norse gods
I
who
mean,
happen
got
to
the
descend
ears,
from the
but
Jötnar.
no
In
eyes or
turn,
nose.
The Jötnar themselves
Okay.
originate from the body of Ymir, a proto-being whose dismembered corpse was said to have created the world. Surtur, as a fire Jotun, was supposed to burn the land's 9 realms, and from their ashes the world would be reborn anew. The difference in this Lostbelt is that Surtur wanted to not only torch away the Age of Gods, but the entire world altogether, leaving no room for humanity to thrive. As such, he took actions that subverted what Ragnarok had prophesized. Normally, the monstrous wolf, Fenrir, the child of Loki, was supposed to kill the all-father god Odin after swallowing the sun. Instead, Surtur attacked Fenrir when his guard was down, having just swallowed the sun, and proceeded to tear apart and devour Fenrir. Through this, Surtur inherited Fenrir's divine authority, becoming far more powerful.
Dang, yep.
He
More
rampaged
powerful.
the 9 realms, killing most of the gods with no sign of stopping. This prompted Odin, who himself was on the verge of death, to seal Surtur in a false sun, putting an
Okay,
end to
yeah,
the
can
chaos.
definitely tell that. I was about to say,
Even
was
so,
it a
this
black
was
hole
no
and the
peace.
sun
Ragnarok
mixed
had not been
together?
finished.
Like,
The fighting
okay.
abated, but there was no rebirth, leaving the Scandinavian mountains torched by the flames of Muspelheim above. These flames, Surtur's lingering might, needed to be suppressed, and to do so, Odin entrusted the land to its last surviving god, Skadi. She was the daughter of Thjazi, a powerful Jotun
Okay.
whom the gods murdered over a dispute. In reparation for her
oh, and
father's
she's
untimely
the
death,
ice, right?
Skadi was
Yeah, because
granted the chance
I
to
remember
marry
seeing
one of
her
the
as
gods.
well.
She became the bride of Njordr, the god of the sea, and she was welcomed as the beautiful bride of the gods. As part of their marriage, Skadi inherited Njordr's stepchildren Freyr and Freyja. Despite her marriage to a god of the sea, Skadi remained in the mountains as a queen of ice and snow,
Yeah, okay,
gifted
so
in the
yeah,
use
there
of
goes.
Odin's primordial runes, which was ideal for opposing Surtur's scalding flames. It is said that Skadi's
Okay, yeah,
mythology
looking
first
good.
originated from that of the Celtic hero Skahak, and to spare Skadi from Surtur's wrath, Odin combined the 2 figures into a single deity, Skahak Skadi. This took the last of Odin's strength. He perished, entrusting Skadi with the fate of humanity, ordering his 2 raven familiars, Hugin and Munin, to watch over her from the sky. Such a task proved difficult for Skadi. a large portion of her power is required to suppress Surtur's flames. And even though she can push the flames back to the mountaintops by coating the land in a beautiful snow, she also has to contend with the many giants left behind by Surtur's rampage. As the daughter of a prominent Jotun, Skadi has a degree of authority over giants, but the ones that survived Ragnarok are particularly aggressive. The best she can do is suppress them with masks infused with her mana. Scandinavia, which was not reborn through Ragnarok, proves infertile for the few humans who dare to inhabit the land. Nonetheless, Skadi devotes herself to protecting these humans as best as she can. That said, between the giants and Surtur's flames, Skadi's best is limited. She can only accommodate a controlled population of 10,000 humans between 100 separate villages, each protected by a bounded field to keep the giants at bay. Even worse, she lacks the resources to protect these humans into adulthood and must impose strict limits on who can survive. Children are permitted to live until the age of 15, or as late as 25 if they bear children. At this point, the adults are told to leave their villages, where they will most definitely be crushed by the barbaric giants outside. These limitations are pitiful, to say the least. Humanity's stagnation, never being able to overcome this strict system, is the reason why their Scandinavia became a lost belt in the first place. Skadi knew such a world was destined for pruning, and so she took it as a miracle when the alien god preserved it. While she could not provide for any more humans, Skadi still loved all of them as her own children, and continued to serve as the Lost Belt's king for 3,000 years. Thankfully, she wasn't all alone during this endeavor. She had help from the Valkyries Thrud, Hildur, and Ortlinda.
So the
Valkyries were beings created by Odin during the twilight of the gods. They were tasked with dancing across the skies of battle in search of the souls of valiant warriors whom they could escort back to Valhalla. In some ways, the Valkyries can be considered automata, as they think in sort of a hive mind, computationally processing situations according to the orders given to them. And yet, they are also each individuals, capable of their own emotions and wills. It's this contrast between the collective and the individual that make them so unique. At the end of Surtur's rampage, 3 of the Valkyries survived and vowed to assist Skadi as a proxy for their creator Odin. To compensate for only having 3, Skadi was able to mass-produce copies of Thrud, Hildur, and Ortlinda, forming a functioning army that the original 3 could each command. They serve Skadi in fighting off the giants, as well as communicating with the villages. They facilitate the ritual by which older humans leave the village. In the latter end of her 3,000-year reign, Skadi was finally greeted by her Lost Belt's cryptor, Ophelia Famersalone, and was also graced with the fantasy tree Sombrero. Unlike the fantasy tree in Russia, Sombrero spread its roots and can even release
you can see the fake sun in the background too, right?
Can't take advantage of the tree's abilities while maintaining Surtur's seal. As her name implies, Ophelia was born as the heir to the Famersalone Magus family. This meant that her parents had lofty expectations of her to succeed the family line as a first-rate mage. To that end, they subjected Ophelia to many painful operations, hoping to cultivate in her a jewel-ranked mystic eye of ether, the 6th imaginary element. For reference, this means possessing a mystic eye on par with, say, Medusa's. For mages in the modern era, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Thanks to this, Ophelia's parents didn't provide her love or emotional support.
Yeah, I can
only
definitely tell
pressure
that.
to improve as a mage.
Yep.
This caused her to develop a quiet, introverted personality.
Her,
Lack of
okay.
self-esteem made
I
her afraid
did
to
not
get
know he was
close to
talking about her,
others.
so yeah, here we go.
She performed well in the clock tower as part of the spiritual evocation department. Her talent as a student got her recruited into Chaldea's Team A. There, she was able to find a genuine friend in Mashu, as well as a love interest in Kirshdaria. The fruit of her family's magecraft is her mystic eye of
and that's why she
prolongation.
has the eye
It is a
patch,
powerful
right?
eye that can function
Because
in
it's
2
like, yeah, she
parts.
has an eye
First,
there.
she can see
You
the
think
various
she doesn't, but no,
possibilities
she
or
has it
potential
there.
futures
Just
of her target.
there's
And
a
second,
reason why
can
she
actually
covers
cull
it
them
up,
so that
right?
events only follow a single course. In practice, this means that she can look at an opponent, eliminate all possibilities in which they succeed, and force them down a path where they fail. It's very similar to Musashi's state of nothingness.
So no matter what you
swordsmanship,
do, you
except
just
in
fail.
Musashi's case, she's
Okay.
guaranteeing a single path
Just
for her
can't
own
succeed if
success,
you do this
rather than
something
imposing a
different
path
or
on
that
others.
different. Like,
Semantics aside,
nah.
Ophelia was primed to be a valuable asset to Chaldea, but that all changed when Lev Liner's explosion had the members of Team A dying in their coffins. thanks to her mystic eye, Ophelia was able to see things the other cryptors couldn't. From her own coffin, Ophelia was able to witness the interaction between Kirstaria and the alien god. She learned how Kirstaria took on excess pain in order to save the other cryptors, and this further strengthened her already devoted love toward him. Another of Ophelia's visions was far less welcome, however. One of the possibilities she gleamed in her coffin was, surprisingly, that of the sealed Surtur in the Norse Lostbelt. The two of them, confined to solitude, found themselves in a similar situation, having failed as their respective worlds appeared to be coming to an end. It seems fitting, then, that Ophelia was put in charge of the very same Lostbelt she had envisioned. To fight on her behalf, Ophelia summoned a saber servant, Sigurd, the greatest hero of Northern Europe. The first thing to understand about Sigurd is that he shares a common legend with the hero Siegfried.
Sigurd, I think I heard that before.
The same basic idea, a great hero who slayed a dangerous dragon with a legendary sword. Sigurd's tale in particular is told in the Volsunga saga, in which his father, King Sigmund of Frackland, died while fighting Odin. As such, Sigurd was raised by a dwarven blacksmith, using his talents to revive the sword Gram, the blade his father had pulled from a great tree. Sigurd later used the sword to slay the dragon Fafnir. By devouring the dragon's heart, he obtained divine power and wisdom. A critical part of his legend is his romance with the eldest Valkyrie, Brynhildr.
Oh, and then, okay, that's her too.
Valkyries were fascinating for the contrast between their collective loyalty and individual desires, and Brynhildr is the main catalyst for this. She was one of Odin's finest warriors, loyally gathering heroic souls to Valhalla for Ragnarok. In one instance, however, she actually defied Odin by supporting a warrior he had not chosen.
Okay.
This hero, Agnar, wound up defeating Hilmagunr, the hero Odin had already promised victory. Odin be pissed, y'all. He punished Brynhildr for her betrayal by stripping away much of her divinity and sealing her in a death-like state at Mount Hinderfjall, enclosed in a hall of flames. It was our boy Sigurd who saved Brynhildr from captivity, charging through the flames on his steed. There was a prophecy that stated if the two of them fell in love, they would meet tragedy, and so Sigurd hoped to merely rescue her without getting attached. Oof. Turns out it was love at first sight.
Of course, yeah, they're gonna still...
They got married, and during their honeymoon, Brynhildr taught Sigurd all the cool shit she learned from Odin, namely those badass primal
tragedy doesn't happen yet, but yeah, soon to come,
left her
right?
to continue his hero's journey, and she decided to loyally await his return. She had no idea her own husband would get NTR'd. A brother and sister pair, Gudrun and Gunther, thought to marry Sigurd and Brynhildr respectively, and enacted a plan to tear them apart. Sigurd was tricked into drinking an alcohol that made him forget Brynhildr. This allowed Gunther to propose to her, and so she imposed a trial, whereby
I mean, that's a good thing, but the bad thing, because...
Gunther didn't
that tragedy isn't... The tragedy isn't gonna happen, but just to forget about it, all right.
As such, Brynhildr wound up in a duel with her true husband Sigurd, but he had forgotten their love and was pretending to be another man. She knew it was Sigurd, but was devastated to see him trying to get her to marry someone else. Even worse, Sigurd had grown to be much stronger than her, in part thanks to the skills she initially taught him. Sigurd won the fight, and she was obligated to marry Gunther, while Gunther's sister Gudrun married Sigurd. Brynhildr couldn't stand to live like this, and proceeded to go on a rampage, slaughtering her beloved Sigurd and all of his family before taking her own life. It was a tragedy of two lovers torn apart through wicked scheming. Regardless, Sigurd was a renowned hero who would have made a wonderful servant
it still did
Ophelia,
kind of happen, though, right?
One major flaw.
So no, if they fell in love, it doesn't matter, even if they forget.
Her mystic eye,
The tragedy will still happen, I guess,
served as a catalyst to manipulate her summoning. As such, the servant she summoned was indeed Sigurd, but he was being controlled by Surtur. In this sense, Surtur had created an opportunity to escape his fake son, vicariously through Sigurd. You see, if Sigurd's spirit origin is shattered, Surtur inside his body will escape.
Literally, escaping out of
his actual body within the sun. When Surtur revealed his intention to burn the planet once free from Sigurd's death, Ophelia used her command spells to forbid him from committing suicide. As such, the only way for Surtur to escape is to have Sigurd die in a legitimate fight to the death. To Ophelia, he is an extremely dangerous loose cannon. After all, compared to the other cryptors, Ophelia is definitely the most compassionate. Despite opposing proper human history alongside her beloved Kirstaria, she isn't too keen on fighting Chaldea. When they were together in Team A, Ophelia and Mashu were close friends, and so Ophelia struggles to rein in her servant's violent tendencies. Ophelia's compassion further reared its head when, in response to Sigurd, Brynhildr was also summoned as a...
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna just pause it right here. So no, I'm not gonna do a part 1 or part 2, right? So I'm gonna definitely continue this on, but I'll just make an edit or whatever. But and actually perfect too, cause right before she gets summoned. But at least get the story so far right. About everything that's going on. So Ophelia, that's what her name is. So I gotta remember that. Definitely remember her too, Sigurd. Cause I see them the most, right? Let's see, Suter. Dang, what was it? Yeah, the Ice Queen. Yeah, I gotta remember her as well. There's just some others I gotta remember. Yeah, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of important people that I'm gonna have to remember here. Just like Katic, right? Even though he got taken out basically the first 2 seconds of this Lostbelt, right? I feel like I'm gonna still have to remember him. But like I said, I'm gonna just pause it right here and then just resume it later on and continue this video. So I'll just see you guys then. Okay, so I'm back now. So I think we were about about halfway in. So we should have about 18 more minutes here, right? But like I said, I'm gonna just continue it on from right here. No part 1 or part 2, just make it all in one video, right? And I might do this for the other ones as well, right? But this one was just different because Friday I really couldn't upload this. So I just wanted to give you guys like a full one instead of just doing part 1 like Saturday and then part 2 Sunday or whatever. But let's
and instead of killing her,
continue on here.
The other Valkyries to once again seal Brynhildr in an imitation of the Palace of Fire.
Okay.
Naturally, the Valkyries didn't want to fight their own sister either, even if she was from proper human history. In addition to Brynhildr, 2 other free servants found themselves summoned to the Lostbelt in an attempt to protect the human order.
Yeah.
The first is a strange case, a joint summoning of 3 gods into a single alter ego servant.
3, okay.
It's a lot like Passionlip and Meltralis, really. Sitonai, the Ainu dragon slayer, takes over this composite servant's name, but contained within we also have the goddess Froya, Skadi's sister-in-law, as well as Louhi, the Finnish queen of Pohjola from the epic Kalevala. They were summoned as a pseudo-servant into the mortal body of Elia, the Einsburn homunculus known through Fate's Day Night.
Okay, Einsburn, okay.
Sitonai derives power from her respective deities, as well as from her host Elia. She's very talented in magecraft, particularly enhancement and protection.
Actually, I kind of like that outfit too. And then the eyes, the blue eyes too.
And her fists.
Okay.
She has her own familiar, a polar bear named Shiro. Yes, that Shiro.
Shiro?
And she can even conjure Heracles as a temporary guardian. Despite all of the strength, Sitonai ultimately found herself imprisoned within Skadi's castle. Skadi did not wish to destroy a servant containing her own sister Froya. As such, Sitonai's just chilling in a dungeon while waiting for Chaldea. Our final servant emerged in part as a response to Ophelia's subconscious wish for a hero to come and save her from this whole Surtur problem. This, as well as the counterforce, wound up summoning none other than Napoleon Bonaparte, the famed French emperor and military leader. He is often regarded as one of the greatest commanders in history, conquering most of Europe under his empire. As a heroic spirit, much of Napoleon's appearance and abilities derive from legends about him, rather than just historical fact. In other words,
that hat just it could just stay on his head like that. Okay, it's a big hat right there. Okay,
his noble phantasm,
but now he's good. It's just he got that big hat on. Okay,
it's like a big gay Excalibur, in that it channels the potential of humanity into a large rainbow beam.
Okay,
his ego is equally ridiculous.
After being Napoleon,
summoned, he made a failed assault on Skadi's castle. When he first met Ophelia there, he proposed to her, despite having been married in his previous life. thinking the proposal was a preposterous joke, Ophelia did not provide him an answer, leading Napoleon to interpret her silence as a yes. That's not how it works. Either way, during the time leading up to Chaldea's arrival, Napoleon visited the various human villages, befriending the children there. With that, we have all the information we need to proceed with the main narrative. To sum it all up, this Lost Belt diverged from proper human history when Surtur gained too much power during the onset of Ragnarok, causing the entire event to fail. Odin managed to seal him in a false sun, relying on the last remaining goddess Skadi to continue to suppress him for the sake of humanity. Skadi and the Valkyries protect a limited population of humans, but are left with no choice but to sacrifice them as adults to sate the violent giants wandering the landscape. Eventually, Ophelia arrives alongside the Lost Belt's fantasy tree Sombrero. When she summons her servant Sigurd, she unintentionally summons Surtur's spirit, too. To prevent Surtur from escaping and torching the entire Lost Belt, Ophelia needs to keep Sigurd alive. Nonetheless, Ophelia takes pity when Brynhildr arrives in the Lost Belt, choosing to seal her away rather than kill her. In addition, Napoleon and Sitonai arrive as free servants, the latter of whom is imprisoned by Skadi. All of this happens before Chaldea emerges in the Lost Belt from void space. So here we are, psyched to be in yet another snowscape. Thankfully, there are blue flames around the mountains to spice things up. Oh, and giants. The giants attack us right away, and so our initial investigation is cut short. To make things worse, Sigurd, being controlled by Surtur, immediately comes to attack the Shadow Border. The magical energy picked up by the border is so friggin' strong that we decide to pull another emergency zero sail to avoid it. Before we can, however, Sigurd arrives, lifts the border up, and totally yeets it. This fucks up our chance to zero sail.
You can definitely tell that, yeah, literally flipping it over.
Without enough access to energy, or monolay lines, we can't summon our own servants. So it's up to Sherlock to try and defend us with his burrito.
Oh!
It's a valiant effort.
And I think this is when he gets... Yep, he gets chopped off.
Placed upon him.
Okay.
Sigurd then enters the border's
yeah, because I saw this on like what the trailers or whatever that I saw that I was talking about, right? So you already knew Sherlock gets injured.
Not like he had much choice. Sigurd's just too strong. The only reason we survive is because the real Sigurd is still in there, doing his best to oppose Surtur's will. So much for sneaking through the Lost Belt. Now we're stuck until we can get the Paper Moon back. Thankfully, while Sherlock is totally wounded, the Death Rune is only a temporary setback to his servant. He'll pull through, but not in time to help us explore the Lost Belt. Once more, it's Ritska and Mashu all alone on their treacherous adventure. As we explore, we quickly find a girl named Gerda being attacked by giants. We save her from being crushed and learn that she's a resident of Village 23. While she's not an adult yet, she still takes it upon herself to look after the village children. Normally, leaving the village is forbidden, but Gerda was out to collect medicinal herbs when she was attacked. Based on our strength, she assumes we're divine envoys, just like the Valkyries who visit the village when it's time for the ritual of ordainment. You know, when adults are forced to leave. She seems very naive,
when they're forced to leave,
so we figure it's best to just go along with it. She takes us to her village, where we learn that there are no adults. We find this horrible, but for Gerda and the other villagers,
yeah,
it's
was
just
it
a
like
fact of life
15
they don't
and
question.
then 25
We
years
arrive
old,
just in
right?
time for the next ritual of ordainment. When a Valkyrie comes to evict the adults, Ritska and Mashu fight back. After defeating one, reinforcements are called in. Before long, we're outnumbered, biting off more than we can chew, until we're rescued by Napoleon.
So they actually defeated, one of the Valkyries, right?
The other Valkyries to retreat. After we tell Napoleon our circumstances, he offers to join us in visiting Scotland's
literally,
castle,
becomes a rainbow.
Rather than a direct assault, he takes us through an underground passage that leads directly to the throne room. Not bad. There, we encounter not only Skadi, but also Ophelia and Sigurd. Despite us being enemies, Skadi forbids us from fighting. As far as she sees it, friend or foe, Chaldea's members now count among her various children. Even as we oppose her Lost Belt, she extends to us her love. Instead of trying to kill us, she has the Valkyrie through to try to capture us. Between this and Ophelia's mystic eye slowing down Mashu's Orton axe, we're pretty much at a standstill. Napoleon makes another attempt to hit on Ophelia, but it obviously isn't taken seriously. To complicate matters further,
Oh, Canis, okay.
servant, shows up with a video message from Kirstaria himself.
So yeah, because he was a part of this too, right?
His Lostbelt's fantasy tree already dominates 80% of
Of
the planet.
course. Yeah, because what was it, like a race to get their Lostbelt? It was something, right?
To quell the fighting in her throne room, Skadi uses her runes
like
to
have their
disable
Lostbelt
everyone
do
present
something
and
more
proceeds
than
to
the
take
other,
Ritska,
right?
Mashu, and Napoleon to the dungeon. With nothing else to do in jail, Ritska takes the chance to form a contract with Napoleon, but during the process, Ritska falls into a dreamlike state. While in this state, Ritska is called out to by, oddly enough, Edmond Dantes. Like Musashi, he can also travel between worlds, and he makes a cameo here to help Ritska in the dream. There, we fight against Heracles, and beyond him, we meet Sitona.
Heracles, I know about him.
She had taken advantage of our contract with Napoleon to force a bond with us. This dark
So,
void
okay,
sure is an
Sitona,
odd way of doing
okay.
this, but I'll take it. We need more servants after all. After waking from the dream, we're able to see Sitona in the prison cell.
Or Sitona, okay.
Before helping us escape, she tells us that if we want to defeat Sigurd, we should go rescue Brynhildr. We ditch Skadi's castle for now and head to Galdhöpiggen, where Brynhildr has been sealed away by magical flames. We're trying to break the seal when we have our first encounter with the fantasy tree's seeds. Basically, in order to protect itself, a fantasy tree will disperse seeds that fight on its behalf. While in battle with these seeds, Napoleon shoots one with his cannon, causing it to crash into the Hall of Flames, in turn freeing Brynhildr. She breaks out, helps us fight, and agrees to join the party. Hell yeah! On the way back, we stop by Village 67 so Napoleon can check in with the kids there. We learn that, apparently,
Bounded
the barrier on
Field.
Gerda's village fell and is under attack, so we make an emergency trip to save it. By the time we arrive, however, everything's taken care of. According to Gerda, someone claiming to be from Chaldea showed up and protected them. Well, that's nifty. Even though everyone was safe, we take this chance to communicate more with Gerda. She now understands we aren't divine envoys at all.
Okay.
Similar to Patsy,
Here, get
Gerda is
something to
starting
eat.
to learn of life's possibilities beyond her own. This momentary peace is interrupted.
Oh, okay.
when the
So that's how
Shadow
you
is
say her name.
attacked by an army
Wait,
of
Berhild?
Valkyries.
Yeah, Berhild,
We rush
right?
to the border's
Okay.
aid and fend off the mass-produced Valkyries, in turn drawing out the real ones, Thrud, Hildur, and Ortlinda. These three truly want to avoid fighting against their own
Brynhild?
sister
Okay.
Brynhildr, but now they feel they have no other choice. They question why their sister Brynhildr is able to fight her fellow Valkyrie so easily, and she explains that as painful as it is to oppose her own sisters, she is a hero with a greater goal in mind. She declares that, in the many years since Ragnarok failed, this world without heroes has caused her sisters to forget what it means to be a hero. Brynhildr, by boasting her own conviction, inspires the Valkyries to do the same. Brynhildr explains that her strength comes from the human heart she developed by loving Sigurd. She clarifies that, after living for such a long time, the three of them must also have developed human hearts that make them stronger. Reluctantly following those hearts, Thrud and Hildur charge their older sister, both getting impaled by her in the process. Defeated, Thrud and Hildur explain that they feel envy in their hearts, envy for Brynhildr's talent and passion. The two of them consider this envy.
Yeah, she's the only one who didn't really get mad,
to
right?
their own deaths. Ortlinda, on the other hand, is younger than them.
Yeah,
considered to be
okay, so
less
you're younger,
broken.
right?
Thrud and Hildur vanish.
Oh, and
after
they-
telling their younger
okay,
sister
yeah,
to
they're
follow her
gone.
own heart, believing it will lead to a better fate than their own. Thus, according to her own will, Ortlinda chooses to flee the battle and rejoin Skadi's side for a later encounter. With that out of the way, all that's left is to return to Skadi's castle for another confrontation. Now that we have Brynhildr
Okay,
on
so
our
yeah,
side,
now we're
we stand a
back.
chance against Sigurd.
Yeah, we should have a
In
chance
order to compete
now.
on his level, though, Brynhildr activates a primordial rune upon herself. It grants her strength at the risk of burning her own soul. At first, Ophelia tries to negate the rune's effects with her mystic eye, but Brynhildr's conviction wins out. By
Oh,
taking
okay,
advantage of
so
a
yeah, you can
technicality,
overcome
the effect
it.
of Ophelia's mystic eye can be subverted.
Yeah,
Brynhildr
okay.
reactivates the rune and uses her noble phantasm, Brynhildr Romantia, to wound Sigurd. Of course, we know that this isn't actually Sigurd, but rather Surtur. Should he fall in battle, Surtur will be freed from his imprisonment.
Oh yeah, you can see it in his
Ophelia realizes
eye
that
too,
Surtur
right?
plans to have
Yeah,
Brynhildr
like that
kill his
fire.
temporary body, and so she intentionally makes him stronger via spiritual ascension. This powers up Sigurd considerably, but Brynhildr also gets stronger upon learning that someone is impersonating her beloved. The two of them fight again, and Brynhildr steals the victory, severing Sigurd's Saint Graf. Ophelia tries to undo this with her mystic eye, but by this point, Surtur has also figured out how to escape its effects. Thus, Ophelia has failed. As Sigurd's body dies, Surtur's true body begins to tear
Oh,
through
and then
the
yeah,
fake
now
sun.
starts
All
to
of the
tear
giants
through,
who are being
right?
suppressed by Skadi's
Dang.
masks become more violent.
Yep.
As intended, Surtur resumes his rampage, hoping to burn his entire world. He kidnaps Ophelia and easily pushes back against Napoleon and Mashu's attempt to fight
Dang.
him.
So yeah, how are we gonna
He
deal
makes
with
his way
him?
north to the fantasy tree and
Right.
absorbs it to become the Lostbelt's new king.
Yeah.
This causes more seeds to emerge and attack the party. Now that Surtur is a threat to everyone, Skadi agrees to work with Chaldea in order to take him down. While watching this all take place, Ortlinda uses a rune to preserve Sigurd's spirit core, finally allowing him to fight without being possessed. He immediately takes this chance to remove Brynhildr's rune, allowing her to survive as well. The two lovers are genuinely reunited, and Sigurd doesn't hesitate to help Brynhildr, even though she's had a compulsion to kill him. The two can be together, fighting as one, thanks to Skadi's divine authority. Fuck yeah! Surtur targets Village 23, but his attack is blocked when Cetonai summons Heracles. Napoleon counters this with his noble phantasm, overcharged to the point that using it kills him in the process.
Oh,
His
okay.
blast damages Surtur, leaving behind a vibrant rainbow.
Yeah, the
Before
rainbow.
vanishing, he hopes that
Okay.
the beauty of this attack will inspire
Yeah,
Ophelia.
at least he did what he
This is his
did though,
way of
right? Yeah, he's
fulfilling the reason for his
able to
summoning,
do something,
respond to her
right?
wish to be saved. Sure enough, this does inspire Ophelia, giving her the conviction needed to break free from Surtur and join us. She knows that Surtur is deriving power from their contract via her mystic eye, and that destroying her eye will weaken Surtur considerably. Thus, she damages her own eye, allowing the overflow of mana to attack her brain. Lastly, she activates her Sirius light, sealing her demise in order to empower Sigurd and allow the party to take to the sky for their final battle. During the fight, Sigurd activates his noble phantasm, Bulwark Gram, to severely wound Surtur. Its effectiveness stems from Surtur's greed being likened to the dragon Fafnir. The slash is strong enough that it severs Surtur's connection to the fantasy tree, also forcing him to drop the paper moon. Fearing his defeat, Surtur attempts to carve a rune of death onto Ritska, genuinely believing it to work. In truth, however, Surtur is viewing an illusion created by one of Brynhildr's runes. While basking in his own delusions, Surtur is defeated by a joint attack from both Sigurd and Brynhildr. The two
Okay,
lovers
oh yeah,
deliver
and then
their
they
final strike,
do their
delighted to
oh
finally fight
final
together,
strike. Okay,
even
I was about to
at the
say yeah,
cost
they
of their
both get
lives.
to
With the
attack at
battle
the same
over,
time,
we quickly
right?
return to the Shadow Border to see Ophelia, sadly, on her deathbed.
Oh,
The
and
loss of her eye and the use of her
okay,
Sirius
because
light
yeah,
made
her
death
eye is
inevitable.
gone.
In her final moments, Ophelia expresses how she
Yeah,
finds
because
it
it did
strange
like
that
go
she,
to her
a
brain,
mage,
right?
was able
So
to have romantic feelings for someone else.
yeah.
She tells Mashu, her dearest friend, to keep on fighting and prevail against the other Lostbelts. Lastly, she asks that if we ever see Napoleon again, to thank him for the beautiful rainbow. So, Surtur is dead, but we still have work to do. The fantasy tree still stands, and as much as we want to destroy it, Skadi simply can't let us end the world she's protected all these years. She, along with Ortlinda, challenge Chaldea to a duel for the fate of their respective worlds. Of course, she fails to mention that she's severely weakened by everything that's happened. As such, when we do fight, we win. Accepting this, Skadi cooperates by destroying the tree herself. As such, the Lost Belt begins to vanish. Ortlinda goes to all the human villages, telling the villagers to return to their homes and go to sleep. Gerda realizes that upon going to sleep, she will never wake up again,
Yeah.
and thus won't be able to see all the friends she's made.
Go to sleep,
She
so
doesn't
it's like yeah,
understand the
if
grief she's
once you
feeling.
start disappearing,
Rather
right?
than
It's
sleep,
like
Gerda
yeah,
steps
you won't be
out into her
freaking out or
empty
anything.
village,
You'll at
and
least
upon
go to
feeling a
sleep
powerful
and be
gust
at
of
peace
wind,
or whatever,
she
right?
gleefully jumps, vanishing with her entire world. Like before, everyone in the border feels like crap. We knew we
Yeah.
had to deny the Lost Belt, but that didn't make it any easier. Even so, we've got our paper moon back and have a clear path to the Wandering Sea. Kind of. Despite driving on a wide, flat plain of whiteness, the border suddenly plunges into a torrential sea out of nowhere. While we're all panicking, we get another transmission from our mysterious mage at the Wandering Sea. She introduces herself as Sion Eltnam Sakaris, And for the first time in over 2,000 years, the Wandering Sea has revealed itself on a day other than December 31st. It seems perilous, having our vehicle sink into the stormy waters around us, but thankfully this is ultimately a great thing. To find out why, you'll need to play the game for yourself, or get stoked for my next video covering the third Chinese Lostbelt.
Okay,
Look forward to it.
Chinese. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. So actually, you know, I think I might look at that one next. I mean, I'm gonna just put it in the poll, right? Like usual. Just to see, like, yeah, if you guys want to see it or not. But yeah, if you guys want to see that or something else. But yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was pretty long there, but not as long as, yeah, what was it? The Atlantic Lost or whatever, right? The one with Kirsaria in it, right? Because that was an hour. I think that was like an hour 20 minutes or so. That was a long one, right? But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, they would end up dying, right? Or Philia, I mean, right? Philia. Is Holmes? Is he good? Let me see. Yeah, it looks like Holmes is good, I guess. Um, yeah, because I see him in like later Lost Belts, right? So I'm like, okay, I think he's good, right? Um, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much about it. Um, for this Lost Belt right here. So yeah, definitely just some people I wanted to know. So Hen Brilder, right? I think you got Sigurd. I think I've seen Sigurd before. But Brynhilder, yeah, that's the one that I wanted to see because yeah, I saw really, yeah, she's in the thumbnail of this video, right? So yeah, know about her. Then Ophelia, right? Because yeah, I see her like a lot, right? Um, got introduced to the Valkyries, right? And yeah, Scotty as well. Sator, and I think that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I'm gonna just end it off here. I don't got much else to say. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna just have a poll. Yeah, I'm gonna add that third loss, but I think yeah, I've done every single one already. So yeah, I did 4, 5, 1, 2. So yeah, I think I just gotta look at the third one because yeah, he doesn't have the 6 lost belt yet, I think. So yeah, I just gotta look at the third one, right? But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. Just make sure to like and subscribe again, and y'all see you guys in the next one.